I am excited, I am angry, I am anxious, I'm nervous, I'm joyful, I'm happy, all at the same time, simultaneously in my brain. That is because today we're gonna talk about one of the biggest pieces of news that Aion has had in the last 5-6 years, and that is the fact that the official Korean version is getting a classic version of Aion, which is starting with patch 1.2, exactly how it started initially for them, and later on they're gonna move slowly by slowly to, you know, more and more content. Today I'm gonna share with you my honest and brutal opinions and thoughts regarding this, because right now I'm just basically speechless, and I'm going to explain to you in a minute why. I would like to preface this video with just a couple of minutes of backstory about me, because most of you who watch me these days after 2 years of me just making Lost Ark videos might not know these things about me and might not understand the rest of my thoughts or criticism or happiness towards this news regarding Aion Classic. So I started to play Aion in 2009 December. It was my second MMORPG, and the only reason why I started to play it was simply because I wanted to get rid of my first ever MMORPG. I wanted to stop it because it was unbearable anymore, which coincidentally was a Gameforge game at that time, Frogster, called Runes of Magic. So I stopped that, started Aion. The first steps I took in Aion on my Ilios character at that time, I knew that this game was for me, and I was absolutely in love with every single pixel of this MMORPG. Didn't watch any videos, didn't care about any tutorials, didn't care about any Twitch or YouTube or shit like that. I just played the game for years. Worth mentioning that I met a girl in Aion in 2010, it was February, and I met her in front of a rift, because back then, at the very early stage of Aion, this is what we did. We just rift all day and farmed Kaidan for XP. This girl is my wife now, and I have a kid with her and also another one on the way. This is just to give you a bit of context of how much Aion has meant to me and how big of an influence Aion has had to my life. I met my wife and I have a life with her for 11 years now, or 10 years, almost 11, together with her, and we have kids also, and we have a home and everything that a normal person has. Do not make me take off my shirt and show you my Aion tattoo also. Do not make me do that, because I haven't done yet a shirtless video. But I just wanted to mention these things so I can show you how much Aion has meant to me, how much I have loved this game, and how big of an influence it has had to my life. And I'm saying this right now as a 35-year-old guy that still enjoys MMORPGs in general. But Aion was that one game that I absolutely loved and hated at the same time. Now that you know all of this, we're going to get into watching the presentation video with a developer, I don't know who he is, from Korea, from NCSoft, and we're gonna see what he has to say, translated by this lovely guy Nuke, and we're gonna review it as we go. Alright, here we are, my boys. Let's take a look. Aion Classic. Wow.
안녕하세요. 아이온 개발팀에서 근무하고 있는 유성필입니다. 오늘 많은 분들께서 기다려주셨던 바로 그 소식, 아이온 클래식에 대해서 말씀드리려고 합니다. 그동안 다수 커뮤니티와 공식 홈페이지의 게시판에서 아이온 클래식 서버 오픈에 대한 말씀과 의견들을 참 많이 확인할 수 있었는데요. 지속적으로 보내주시는 관심과 의견에 저희 역시 너무 공감하며 여러분의 추억 속의 아이온을 현실로 만들어 다시 한번 경험해 보실 수 있도록 아이온 클래식을 준비하게 되었습니다.
So Koreans love Aion, apparently, at least some of them. I think it's kind of dead there also. However, because of them and because they have looked at the forums, apparently, they decided to create this Aion Classic server where we can enjoy the beauty and the loveliness of this amazing, as it was, not now, MMORPG that is Aion. So this is happening in Korea with no official news yet for NA or Europe.
저희가 이번에 아이온 클래식을 준비하면서 가장 중요하게 생각했던 포인트는 최대한 그때 그 시절의 아이온의 모습과 가장 가까운 환경을 제공드리는 것이었습니다. 런칭 시점에 적용되는 빌드
They're gonna start with 1.2 in Korea, which is actually the way Korea started with 1.2. I'm not entirely sure because my memory is playing tricks on me, but I believe when we started in the West, we already started with 1.5 patch. Now in 1.2, for those of you who still remember this, the end game content was Draupnir Cave, right? Some level 42, 43 dungeon. And you got your gear from there, and then you got some Abyss gear also. It was like, I think just some blue tops, Abyss gear. White mana stones were like the best thing ever, and so on. It was absolutely amazing. Level 3 enchantment stones were like, yes, please give me 2 more. Absolutely lovely. And then in 1.5, they also added Dark Poeta as a content, and the 2 Devanian sets, Fenris and Miragent, it was called at that time, and those were like the best set to have for PvP and PvE, unless you had the Elite 50 Abyss PvP set, which was better for PvP than the Miragent or Fenris.
버전은 1.2 버전으로 여러분들도 예상하셨다시피 직업은 총 8개로 구성되어 있으며 필드에서 캐릭터의 육성에 집중하시게 될 것입니다. 어느 정도 육성을 완료하셨다고 생각되시면 동료들을 모아 그때의 추억을 살릴 드라움니르 동굴 공략까지 진행 가능하십니다. 열심히 동굴도 공략하시고 필드와 PVP를 즐기시며 추억에 적응해 나가실 즈음에는
I'm getting very emotional when this guy is talking about old content, because me personally, I have never got to experience Draupnir as the endgame content, and also when Dark Poeta was farmed by some people, some groups, I was like level 40 something ish, still trying to get to 50 at that time, and I was very jealous of those people. That, man, they're doing so good, you know, they were prepared for Aion and now they're just zooming as a 6-man. So I'm a bit emotional because I never had myself the opportunity to do this content, and also enjoy the PvP map. Now, back in the days, one of the things people loved and hated at the same time was the fact that there was a lot of rifts and a lot of ganking going on at level 25, 27, 30, 35. There was twinks for level 30 that were just gearing up towards that purpose, and all they did was Eltnen and Morhaime. They just, you know, twinked there and killed people, and it was exhilarating and so frustrating at the same time. It was amazing.
암흑의 포에타와 데바니온 퀘스트를 통해 50레벨 장비를 파밍하실 수 있고, 이후 어비스 요새전과 보상방을 통해 본격적으로 어비스 장비를 파밍하실 수 있도록 업데이트를 준비 중에 있습니다. 앞서 말씀드렸다시피 아이온 클래식의 가장 중요한 포인트는 최대한 추억 속의 아이온의 모습과 가장 가까운 환경을 제공드리는 것입니다. 다만 쌓인 추억만큼 지난 시간에 따라 변화하였을 여러분의 라이프 사이클, 플레이 패턴, 그리고 컨텐츠 소비 속도 등을 다각도로 고려하여 최대한 불편을 느끼시지 않도록 게임 진행 시 과도하게 많은 시간이 요구되거나 지루함을 유발했던 부분에 대해서는 밸런스를 조절하였습니다. 예를 들어 시간
He was talking now about playing excessively, and people didn't really like that, because back in the days how it was is you logged in and you played like 8 hours straight farming mobs, elite mobs, with a group, because solo, duo, trio, you just wiped at every single mob 6 times. Even with a group, you wiped once in 2 mobs, you were all dead back at the Kisk. Kisks were really expensive because Kina was nowhere to be found, and because of that, people got very frustrated because it took so much to level up. You really needed to be a hardcore player in order to zoom through levels in Aion, and you had to have a group and other players like-minded. It was a whole thing. So he's talking now about the adjustment of that to the better, to the 2020. So it's going to be the same Aion, the same things that are present, but just maybe a little bit more XP from this, a bit more XP from quests, etc.
시간대별로 랜덤하게 열렸던 요새전이 있는데요. 이는 특정 요일과 시간에 확정적으로 열리게 수정하여 좀 더 계획적으로 요새전에 참여하실 수 있게 준비하였습니다. 요새전의 보상도 일부 사양되고 보상 대상 등도 변경하여 일부 직업 등이 받던 불이익도 최소화하였습니다. 시공의 균열 역시 오픈 확률도 늘리고 PVP를 방해했던 과도한 학살차 디버프도 일부 수정하여 준비 중에 있습니다.
This killer debuff was introduced sometime in 1.9, 2.0, something like that, and it was a thing that didn't exist anymore. Very many die-hard PvP players at that time started to hate the game because of this, because they just went in zones, and it was kind of broken, this killer debuff that's translated here. If you killed too many lobby players, right, then you got this debuff and you were really slow and your attack was reduced by this, your PvP attack, etc. It was just badly done in general, the debuff. And it happened also, you killed, let's say, 5 lobby players that were just around you, you killed them by mistake through AoE, and then after that you killed 2 of your same level, and then you still got this debuff. It was just bad. And he's also referring to this changes to the excessive killer debuff, which interfered in PvP, which is correct. For some people it was really bad, and then for some other people, more casual people, they actually liked it. But it was just a dumb idea to have it in the first place in a game like Aion, where they tried eventually to please every single person who was playing the game, which was a huge mistake from their side.
있습니다. 그럼 앞으로의 업데이트 일정도 궁금하실 텐데요. 우선 최초 업데이트인 암흑의 포에타와 데바니온 퀘스트가 포함되는 1.5 버전은 오픈 이후 최대한 빠르게 진행하는 것을 목표로 하고 있습니다. 이후 여러분이 즐기시는 게임 속도에 맞춰가며 각 컨텐츠를 추가할 예정이고요. 2점대 용기 시절의 마지막 업데이트였던 2.7 데바 대 데바까지의 업데이트를 진행하려고 생각합니다. 아이온 클래식을 준비하면서 플레이 방식에 대해서 정말 많이 고민했는데요. 이전 아이온의 경우 월정액 이용권 형식으로 진행을 했었습니다. 아이온 클래식 역시 이러한 플레이
Back in the days, I used to spend 20% of my salary on the subscription for Aion. It was $12.99, and this was 11 years ago, my boys. Right now, subscriptions are still $12.99, and it's 11 years in the future, right? A lot of stuff with money has changed. Now, this guy is saying that right now, the Aion Classic, at least in Korea, it's still going to be $12.99, which is a little bit controversial. We're going to talk about it.
기준은 이어나갈 예정입니다. 하지만 과거 이용권 방식만으로 아이온 클래식을 경험하시기에는 제한이 있고, 또 가벼운 마음으로 옛 추억을 생각하며 찾아주신 분들께는 하나의 진입 장벽이 되실 수 있기 때문에 매일 1시간씩 자유롭게 진행하실 수 있도록 준비하였습니다.
1 hour of free playtime for everyone that does not want to pay a subscription to Aion. Now, this, if I remember how Aion was, and I just told you needed 8 hours to get 2 levels, you can imagine how few this is. Even though he said they're gonna adjust the speed of progression, etc. However, 1 hour of free playtime every day is extremely few. You can choose to do 1 siege and then you're logged off, or you can choose to do 1 dredgen and something AFK in town and then you're logged off. It is extremely few, and I think it's just it's controversial. It's not bad, it's not good either.
참, 오픈 이후 일주일 동안은 월정액 이용권 결제 없이 24시간 동안 무료로 플레이하실 수 있는 이벤트도 준비해 두었습니다. 추억에서 현실이 된 아이온을 편안하게 확인해 보실 수 있을 겁니다. 참고로 라이브 서버를 진행 중이신 고객님들께서는 유의하실 점이 있는데요. 라이브 서버와 클래식 서버는 각각 별도의 클라이언트지만 같은 계정, 즉 동일한 계정으로는 동시 접속이 불가능하십니다. 라이브 서버를 진행하시면서 클래식 서버도 동시에 이용하고자 하신다면 서로 다른 계정으로 접속을 부탁드립니다. 이전 아이온에 대한 기억과 노하우를 잊지 않고 계신다면 아이온 클래식 서버에서도 그때 그 시절 그대로 대바드 중에서도 영웅이 되실 수 있을 겁니다. 필요한 것은 열정과 약간의 컨트롤이 되지 않을까 싶습니다. 클래식 서버에서 다시 한번 함께 날아오를 대바 여러분들을 기다리며 저희 또한 더욱더 노력하겠습니다. 그리고 라이브 서버 역시 열심히 준비하고 있습니다. 지금 다양한 이벤트와 푸짐한 선물을 드리는 12주년 대바의 날 기념 이벤트가 진행 중에 있는데요. 12주년 이벤트도 재밌게 즐기시고 앞으로의 라이브 서버 업데이트도 기대해주세요. 감사합니다.
Classic Aion is coming to Korea on the 11th of November 2020. Will it come ever in the West? I don't know. But I do want now to get back on my feet and talk about my feelings of love and hatred towards this and the game in general and how I think this is going to go. All of this is fantastic news, especially for the people who have played Aion back in the day and loved it. People who have played Aion even not so back in the day, maybe 2.0, 2.5, and loved it. Now, these people, you have to though consider that these people are 10 years older, 9 years older, 8 years older. Most of these people who were 25 at the time of Aion coming out in 2009 are now 35 years old. Now in this 10 years, life changes, things happen. You don't have the same ambition, motivation, time, will to play Aion once more, again, from the get-go, from the start. Let's just play it because now it's official. I will give them the credit of coming up with this idea because the private servers of Aion are currently doing pretty well, to tell you the truth. The private servers appear to be doing as well as the retail version. Obviously the whole game is kind of dead in a nutshell, right? Nobody really cares about it, and nobody, let's say, ever did care seriously about it after its first 2 years. So because of that, I'm skeptical with all of this. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen, and I cannot even put my finger on it. Aion requires a lot of people in order to feel like a really nice game. There's sieges who take hundreds of people to even attempt to finish a lower abyss siege. Upper abyss, it takes more hundreds of players than the lower one. Now, if these things are also going to be adjusted and the difficulty of taking a fort is not going to be so trivial as it is now or has been for the past 6 years, but somewhere in the middle, in between the hardness of the beginning and the easiness of now, maybe it can work. However, on top of the sieges, you need a lot of people to populate the world for your ganking, for your rifting, for your PvP. You need people who are dedicated to their characters on the classic server so that they can come play at a specific hour for Dredgen, etc, etc. I am 100% sure that a lot of people that have played Aion before are going to play it again with this classic. However, is it going to be enough? Is it going to be a cash grab is my second question. Many of you also have the same concern that all of this is just for a cash grab, the same as Arcade Unchained did, or whatever you consider about that. You think the same here, or at least some of you do. And after all the shit that has happened with Aion free to play since the moment NCSoft decided it's gonna be free to play and it's going to have a cash shop, I tend to believe you. I tend to believe that all of this is going to be a cash grab. I don't believe for a single second that NCSoft has all of a sudden magically players at heart and players' intentions will be satisfied. I don't believe that, because NCSoft are the ones who made Aion the way it is now, which is crap. NCSoft are the ones who decided Aion becomes free to play, and NCSoft are the ones who developed the cash shop and the things inside it and decided this is the pay to win model, cash hungry crap that Aion is going to become for the next 6 years up until today. Not Gameforge. I feel sometimes a little bit bad for Gameforge for taking all of this shit from the European fans, because NCSoft in Korea are the ones who did everything bad to this game. From the moment they launched that survey, I think it was 3.0 patch or close to it, I don't remember exactly, there was a survey in game that every single player got. We were still underpaid subscription times. We were receiving a lot of major ancient crowns also during the last week, and there was a survey asking us, do you like rifting? Do you like open world PvP? Do you like this? Do you like that? Do you like the current subscription model? Do you want it to be free to play? And after this massive survey, it appears that most of us, I don't know who, because none of my friends voted for any of the shit that they asked, it appears that most of us wanted the game to be bad. It appears that most of us wanted to get rid of the subscription. It appears that most of us didn't like the rifting. It appears that most of us didn't like the open world PvP, which is, in my opinion, a little bit BSy, because I cannot believe for a single second that the players who stuck to Aion for 3 years voted in that survey to completely change Aion now and make it into something that NCSoft proposed. I think, because the results of that survey were never given, well, they were given out, but can you really know what people voted? They can just be put in a notepad and, hey, here's the results. We can never really know. So, do I trust NCSoft? because now they're offering me a classic after what they've pulled for the last 6 years. Now they're offering me a classic, apparently with subscription, apparently no pay to win, apparently all of my good memories rehashed according to the guy we just watched. Now, my good memories about Aion in the beginning, there was no cash shop. There was a cash shop. In the cash shop, there were 3 items and 3 items only. A black die, a white die, and the Aion digital magazine. And of course the game and, you know, the different packs for the game, etc. That's it. That was all the cash shop. I want those memories rehashed if it ever comes in the West. But if there's gonna be gold packs and stuff for gear and gear itself and Luna coins and entry fucking scrolls and all of these things that make Aion a pay to win game now, why would I go and play a lovely version of my favorite game but pay to win? Why would I go through the same things I've already went, but just now with pay to win in them? Well, so my memories are completely pure of Aion in that time. And if NCSoft is going to push that this is the version that is completely pure and just with a subscription and everything else is within the game, then I might consider playing Aion Classic. However, until then, I will choose to remain serious, skeptical, and disappointed, because that's how I've been for the past 6 years. Every time I try to be optimistic about it, I basically got screwed over, and screwed over bad, and very many times. I cannot be optimistic anymore, because right now there is nothing to be optimistic when we're talking about Aion. In regards to Aion, there is nothing that is a ray of sunshine anywhere. The game is not good, and there's also pay to win in it, which are 2 very destructive things, as you can clearly see from the player base that is basically non-existent. This classic has a chance if there's gonna be people invested into it, and the only way to get people invested into it in the West is to offer a pure experience. I understand that in 2020 people don't necessarily appreciate these subscription-based games, and for those people there should be inside the game an option to purchase subscription with Kina. Simple as that, not from other people, because that makes it pay to win. I don't want to buy gold packs off the broker. No. That is pay to win, because those people who are going to deposit real money are going to sell gold packs and then get Kina and then progress, because Kina is really important at the beginning of Aion, and it's just how it is. So no. But inside the game, the same way as they made the Luna shop, the same way as they made the gold bar shop, the actual shop and the actual 3 shops that are in the game, the same way they can make a little button, pay Kina, get my month of membership in Aion. Simple as that. You basically throw away that Kina, and with that you have to play harder, you have to farm more, because you also need Kina yourself, but you want to spend on your subscription. And that is the perfect way of giving people the old Aion back and thinking about them. Not a cash grab, not looking like a cash grab, just making your fans happy. Paid membership for most people, because most are just gonna pay real money, and then an option in game for some other people to join those people who pay real money for their subscription, to join them within the game, play with them, create a lovely, helpful, healthy community. This is my take on it, and yeah, I'm gonna be following news and the development. Maybe I'm even going to play next month in November this classic version of Aion in Korea, because I have so many accounts from 5.0 times for Aion, so you might even see more videos about it, just to keep track of what's going on, how fast are the patches, how do I feel in it, etc. Until then, I will remain very skeptical, because it's the only way to remain, as nothing good has happened in Aion in the past 6 years, and that's very hard to get over. I wish you guys lots of love. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna see you really soon. Take care.